Hey guys, so we're starting the day 5 video today. Today we're going to be talking mainly about how do cells produce proteins and other substances within themselves, right? Because these are obviously very important things that cells need, so we need to be able to actually produce them. The first thing we're going to talk about are ribosomes. Ribosomes play a very, very important part in all cells. This is why they are found in all cells, prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Their main job is to build proteins. And obviously, you guys know proteins are an extremely important part of the cell. Proteins are basically the parts of the cell that actually do specific jobs. So they help to break things down and make energy. They help you see, they help your hair grow, they help you move. Proteins are vital when it comes to actually performing tasks inside the cell. But before we can get a protein, we need to have a ribosome. So ribosomes are not like other organelles because they don't have a membrane surrounding them. They're basically just a piece of protein that flows throughout the cell and does its job by building other proteins. Okay? So, ribosomes are produced inside of the nucleolus in the nucleus. Okay? And then they leave the nucleus through nuclear pores. So, you guys remember back here the other day when we were talking about the nucleus, in the center we have a whole bundle of DNA called the nucleolus, and this is where ribosomes are produced, and they'll leave the nucleus through the nuclear pores. All right. So let me just give you guys a quick visual on this. So you can see here, this is the nucleolus, and you can see that the ribosomes are being built right there, and they're leaving through the nuclear pores. So some of these ribosomes are going to go and become attached to a specific structure called the rough endoplasmic reticulum, and some of them are just going to be there floating through the cytoplasm, and all of them build proteins. Depending on where they are, they're going to build different types of proteins. All right? All right, so ribosomes are made in the nucleolus found in the nucleus. Their job is to build proteins, and they are made up of protein, and parts of them are made up of RNA. All right? So they can either be freely floating in the nucleus, or they can go and attach themselves to a structure called the rough endoplasmic reticulum, which we are going to talk about right now. All right, so we have two types of endoplasmic reticulum. Both of these are used to build things inside the cell. So this is basically a factory where the cell builds things. So different parts of the endoplasmic reticulum build different things. The first thing that we're going to talk about is the rough ER. Okay, we're just going to say ER instead of endoplasmic reticulum, because it's a long word and you have to breathe sometimes. All right? So the reason it's called the rough ER is because it's covered in ribosomes. So if you look at this structure under a microscope, under an electron microscope, you'll see all of these little bumps on them. And those bumps are the ribosomes that have attached themselves to the rough ER. So you guys know ribosomes build proteins, and when they attach themselves to the rough ER, all the proteins that they build get built into here. And then once they're inside the rough ER, they can be transported to other parts of the cell. All right? And remember how we said a couple days ago that cells like to fold their membranes like this to help you get a higher surface area. This basically means I can do a lot more work in a lot less space. So if I just had one really big circle as my rough endoplasmic reticulum, that would not be able to do as much work as all of these folds and channels. This basically means you can do more work in less space because you have more rough ER inside of your cells. All right? So let's go ahead and just take a quick look at how the rough ER works. All right, so let's go ahead and start from here. So you guys can see that the ribosomes have attached themselves to the outside of the rough ER, right? And it's right next to the smooth ER. Inside of here, if you can see this structure right here, this is a ribosome building a protein into the cell. That's another ribosome, this is another ribosome. And they're all building these amazing proteins that can be used to do a lot of different jobs inside the cell. Now, once the proteins are built, they can be transported to other parts of the cell from the rough endoplasmic reticulum in these vesicle structures, right? So from here, a protein can be built by the ribosomes, and then they can be transported to other parts of the cells wherever they're needed. We're going to get a little bit more into the Golgi apparatus tomorrow. All right, so that's the job of the rough ER. It's a factory where proteins are built, and the workers in the factory are the ribosomes. The ribosomes build the proteins inside of this protein building factory. Okay, do you get the idea? All right, so we just talked about all of this, and then we also have the smooth ER. The smooth ER is also a factory that builds vital components for the cell. However, in the smooth ER, we don't have ribosomes, so we don't have proteins being built there. However, it is still an extremely important structure. The smooth ER is actually responsible for building lipids for the cell, or for synthesizing lipids. Lipids are fats that are required for the cell. So in your smooth ER, you're going to find the building of cholesterol, which you guys remember is important in your cell membrane. You're also going to find that the synthesis of phospholipids, which again is extremely important in your cell membrane. And this is also a place where important hormones are built. So depending on which cell you have, you're going to get different hormones being built in your smooth endoplasmic reticulum. All right, so the smooth endoplasmic reticulum helps you to build fats. The rough one helps you to build proteins. Another extremely important job of your smooth ER is that it helps to detoxify your blood. So the smooth ER found in your liver is actually what is responsible for breaking down toxic substances in your blood. So you guys remember that we said that cells are dynamic. They change according to your needs. So we said earlier that if you have cells that are extremely active and need a lot of energy, they'll have more mitochondria, while cells that don't need a lot of energy will have less mitochondria. Well, the same thing happens when you are with different organelles in your cells. So a person who needs more smooth ER will have more smooth ER. A person who needs less will have less. This is what happens to people who are abusing drugs, people who are using too much of a substance that they are not supposed to be using. The ER, their smooth ER, will start to build more and more and more. So if you look inside of their cells, this structure will actually extend for a lot longer. And that's because they need more of this smooth ER to break down those structures and detoxify their blood, because obviously your body knows that this is not supposed to be inside of you, and it's going to do everything that it can to help to detoxify. And of course, if those same people decided to cut that habit, the smooth ER would shrink down and go back to normal, because your cell only builds according to what it needs. If you need more smooth ER, your cell will have more smooth ER. If you need more mitochondria, your cell will have more mitochondria. And then if you need less, you will have less of everything. That's the amazing things about cells. They're dynamic. They change and they adjust themselves according to your needs and according to the cell's needs. All right, so guys, now you can rewatch this video if you were confused about any points, and then you can go ahead and start your quiz. Good luck.